friends. I'm very happy to be back in Minneapolis after quite a while, and I'm very happy to see so many of my old friends and some new friends here today. It's always a great joy to meet friends. I think there is nothing more important in life than to have a good friend. I think so many of our problems are arising out of our loneliness, that we feel alone, and if we have one good friend, it helps a lot. A friend who can really be a friend at all times, not one who is temporary and we just make casual relationships and then we go away, but somebody who can be a friend forever. The big advantage of being on a spiritual path is that a spiritual colleague of ours, a spiritual co-traveler, becomes a friend and remains a friend forever. Not only does a spiritual co-traveler become a friend forever, he also becomes an unconditional friend. His love for us becomes unconditional. Whereas most of the friendships we have in this world and most of the relationships we have are based upon business transaction. I do this for you, you do this for me. And if you don't do it, then we are no longer friends. So it looks like this type of friendship is not true friendship because it's not based upon unconditional love. True friendship is based upon totally unconditional love, which means there is no judgment involved. Friends never judge each other. Friends accept each other. Friends accept each other as they are. They don't say, if you are a good person, then I will be your friend. They don't make these conditions upon friendship. And the advantage of having a co-traveler on the spiritual path is that the spiritual path itself makes you non-judgmental and makes you a true friend. It also teaches us what is true love. That true love is not attachment. True love is not just trying to be attractive or trying to attract somebody. True love is where you feel identified with somebody, where you feel that you are being pulled by somebody to such an extent that for that moment you have forgotten who you are. It's only true love that your ego takes a back seat. Otherwise, almost all our relationships in life are based upon our ego. I love you, I do this for you, I is always there ahead of it. And a person keeps on repeating to us, I love you, I wonder if that person loves I more than you because he keeps on saying I all the time. This ego that is the face of our mind, that is creating most of our problems. And therefore, a friendship based upon an ego or the I-ness of a person is not true friendship. True friendship is where the ego has no role in it. And the meeting ground is not what we share. The meeting ground is not that what our tastes are common. It's not that what hobbies we have which are common. The meeting ground between true friends is their spirit, is their spiritual self. The meeting ground is that the soul pulls the soul. It is not even involving the mind of a person. The mind of a person can create attachments. The mind cannot create love. The mind cannot create true love. Only the soul, which is the basis for all life, which makes the mind alive, which makes this body alive, that alone can experience true love. Therefore, if one is on the path toward discovering one's own soul, one's spirit, one comes on a stage where you can find that all the souls are the same. There's no discrimination in the soul. Discrimination is only in the mind and the body. We discriminate with each other because of our bodies and our mind. The soul has no nationality. It has no color. It has no culture. It has no group. It is universal. All our souls are the same. And therefore, when we deal with each other at spiritual level, which means at the level of the soul, there is no discrimination. And therefore, there is no judgment. Because even the morality that we give so much importance, the good and bad we talk about, itself is a mental thing. Because there is no absolute good and bad. Good and bad has been always relative to what society at any particular time thinks is good or bad, how religion at a particular time says this is good, this is bad, and we adopt it. At all times we have been able to define good and bad differently. In all different nations and cultures we define good and bad differently. So there is no universal good and bad. Universal truth is that there is nothing good or bad. It's our spiritual self which has come to experience duality, which has come to experience something in pairs of opposites that creates also good and bad. We don't belong to good and bad. We don't belong to duality. We belong to that where there is only one. If there is only one, how can there be good or bad? Think of it. If there were nobody else except one, nobody would even think of what is good or bad. The good and bad is coming because of the many. And the many has been created for our experience. If we want to find out who we truly are, what is our true identity, we can find out. It's not that difficult because the true identity lies within ourselves. We don't have to go out to find it. If we want to know who we are, what is our real reality, what's the truth, not the body, not our thinking apparatus, not the mind, not our sense perceptions. These are all things we are using. These are all making us have experiences. Then who is it that is having a mind? Who is it that is having these sense perceptions? Who is it that is having a physical body? If you want to find that out, well, it is inside us. We are using all these things from inside this body. There's nothing outside. So the method of finding out who you are, which will make you know your own soul, your own reality, apart from the body and the mind and the senses, which are merely covers upon yourself, you'll be able to find out who you are. The moment you find who you are, all discrimination will disappear. And you will notice that we are all the same. If you go to a higher reality, even beyond that, which is also accessible within ourselves, that we are not individual even, we are not even separated from the only total one. That totality of consciousness has created these individual experiences in consciousness, which we are calling our soul. That is not separated from the totality. It's always been there. I remember, and I have sometimes mentioned to you, that when I was very young and somebody said, come on the spiritual path, and they explained the spiritual path like this, that there is a great vast ocean and we belong there, and we have been separated like little drops, and we have left our ocean and traveled so far away and got so much lost in this creation that now we have to find our way back. Through a spiritual journey, you have to go and find our way back so that our drop of consciousness can go and merge in the ocean of consciousness, and that is our spiritual path. It bothered me a lot that if I am a drop of consciousness, I am somebody. If I travel all the way back to the ocean and merge in it, what have I got? I lost myself. And what has the ocean gained by one more drop? It's a lose-lose situation. I lose myself, the ocean gains nothing. What kind of spiritual path is this? I was very shocked. This is what they're talking about. Traveling all the way, going through all kinds of penances and practices and meditations, and to reach what? Destroy yourself, who you are, and merge in something who doesn't care because there are trillions of drops already there. So what kind of game is this? I was mistaken. That is not the spiritual path. That is not even our identity. Our identity is we are a drop in the ocean, but never left the ocean. We left the awareness of the ocean. We are still in the ocean. We never separated from the ocean. And the spiritual path is not traveling anywhere. The spiritual path is to raise your awareness, expand your awareness to the level where you discover you always have been the ocean. This drop, which you call yourself, is not a drop, it's the ocean now experiencing a drop. When you experience your true self, you become the ocean. The spiritual path is no journey at all. It's a journey into self-discovery, a journey into finding out who you really are. And the best way to perform this journey is not to walk, not to go anywhere, but to stop going. We are constantly moving. We don't move always in our body. Mostly we move in our mind. We constantly think of different things. Every time we think of something, we are there. Our mind makes us travel to so many places, so many issues and problems. The mind is constantly hopping from one place to another. The spiritual journey does not consist of making another hop. It means stop hopping. That means hold yourself where you are. Because obviously, if we are the conscious self, we are right now the same conscious self sitting here, then we must be where we are. The discovery is not to go somewhere and find out, because we are not somewhere else. We are exactly here, exactly where we are. Buddha said that the truth is here because there is no there. Actually, there is no there. Everything is here. Not only that, we are practicing our experiences of all kinds. We are experiencing life in all its forms right here. We never move. A Swami who wants to see me in India on my next visit wrote to me 2 days ago. He said, I am going to tell you a great discovery I found. He said, look at your foot and you will see the foot never moves. The earth moves around it. If you see carefully, you never move. And I said, look at yourself. The self never moves. The entire experience moves around it. Which is the truth. We never move. We don't have to. We are in a very stable position in our true home, but we have covered ourselves with so many veils of delusion, veils which was a system by which we had different kind of experiences. Of course, if we are conscious beings, then conscious beings means we have to be conscious of something. If consciousness is not conscious of anything, it will disappear. Consciousness must stay with something to be conscious of. That's the very nature of consciousness. That means if consciousness is the creator of everything, then creation must be as important as the creator. And if there is no creation, how can there be a creator? The word creator means that something exists which that power has created. Therefore, the creation and creator go together, and because of that, consciousness is always in a process of creating and becoming conscious of it. It creates and becomes conscious at the same time. And so, all these experiences we are having, including the experience we are having now of being here in this meeting, is all being generated by our consciousness through this media. What is the media consciousness uses to create these experiences? If you study carefully how this experience of the world takes place, you will notice that there are 3 elements involved. One is your own mind. The mind is performing a very important function, that it can see a black color in a square which has no other indication but say, oh, that's a telephone, it's a recorder. Who has said that? The mind. Body can't say. Senses can't say. Somebody has said it. Somebody has put this together. Somebody has been able to put a sensory perception together and made it into a meaningful thing. And by this process, we have produced philosophers, intellectuals, concepts, thoughts, inventions. So much has been done just by one process of a mind, a mental capacity that can put together these things and make meaning out of it, make sense out of it. It's a very big job the mind is doing to make sense of things. So we are using the mind all the time. We can't do without the mind. We would be dead if we didn't use our mind. So the mind is functioning all the time. Then what does the mind rely on? Sense perceptions. Seeing, touching, tasting, smelling. Supposing we had no sense perceptions, the world will disappear. Did you know there is no world existing outside of what we are perceiving? If our perceptions were not there, there would be no world. So the world we are seeing, we are saying that the sense perceptions are seeing the world, touching the world, experiencing the world. But have you ever thought maybe it is creating the world and then experiencing it? Again, a very old thought. Philosophers have been talking about it for centuries. If you look at a tree, is the tree there because you're looking at it? Or you're looking because a tree is there independently of your looking? We all assume, a great assumption, we all make, tree has to be there before you can look at it. Then only you will see it. If you turn your head around, tree is still there. Tree doesn't go anywhere. Therefore, tree must be real. So the whole material world has to be real because sense perceptions are only picking up what is already real and outside. But then a person hallucinates and he sees a tree also. He sees things there. We say he's mad, he's hallucinating. Why? Because he's seeing something we are not seeing. Is it not possible that there is a mass hallucination? We are all using the same process of seeing. He's seeing. How is he seeing? He is seeing because he's seeing something in his mind and he sees it outside. Is it possible that we could also be seeing everything in our mind and having all sensory experiences in our own mind, and then we think they are all outside? There have been philosophers who have advocated this point of view that creation exists because it is inside us, we project it and looks like a reality outside. They are called the idealists. In opposition, there are a large number of people, larger than the idealist, who are the materialist, who say this is not possible. A material world has to be there before sense perceptions can pick up anything. Therefore, their argument is that the process of seeing or process of touching or tasting or smelling, all these require a transmission of something coming to us through our sense perceptions and going and traveling inside and going to the place where we can recognize it. They have a pathway. Look at vision, for example. Look at the process of seeing. How do we see? The materialists say, it's very simple. We see, you place something in front. Here is a recorder in front here. The rays of light, which are falling from there, fall upon this. If they were not there, it was dark, it would not be there. At least we won't see it. But the light falls upon it, and it reflects from there. That's their scientific theory. Reflects from there in near parallel rays, goes to the eye, and then the color that is there is not absorbed, the rest are absorbed, so I see only the unabsorbed color, and that travels through the refractive power of our lenses and the aqueous and vitreous humor in the eye, goes back to the retina, and the retina has rods and cones which can distinguish between color and shape, and that sends a message on the optic nerve, because retina is merely an extension of the optic nerve. It sends us to the center, the optic center in the brain, and the brain, if you are conscious, you see this thing. If you are not conscious, eyes can be open, you don't see it. So there's a route of seeing. Now look at it. Supposing the retina had the power to create images. Supposing we are born with a retina that can create an image, then the transmission from the retina to the brain would be identical. We'd see the thing exactly where it is. No difference. Because that's the last part from where we see. Supposing retina has no power, it's only the optic nerve that can do it. We still see it the same. Supposing it is not even the optic nerve, it is just the brain center that generates an image, we'll see it exactly as we are seeing now. Supposing it is not even the brain center, it's the consciousness that ultimately picks it up. And consciousness creates this image, we'll see it exactly as we are seeing now. So the question arises, which is the cause? Is the material, this thing is the cause that I'm seeing? Or is seeing the cause that's causing this material thing to appear solid and real? This question begs the basic question, how does cause and effect answer this question? Which happens first? So we can know. If you put this thing in front of me, then only I see, obviously we can say that the seeing is taking place because the thing was not there. You couldn't see when you brought it in front. That's the cause. Seeing is the effect. But if there is no time lag between the placing of the thing in front of you and the seeing of it, then it becomes a problem. Now, tests have revealed that the seeing of the thing and the thing are simultaneously with not even a nanosecond of gap in there. That means what we say is in front of us and the seeing of it is identical at the same time. That leaves the issue completely unresolved, that which is the cause, which is the effect. Anyway, this is a debate going on. What I am going to suggest is, can't we go inside our own head and find out what's going on? Should we depend upon a debate going outside on this? Should we go only on speculation? Or is there a way by which we can ourselves go, understand how the brain works, how consciousness works in the brain, how this body is functioning? Can't we go and examine ourselves? Well, we can't examine because our attention is all flowing outside. We can examine things outside of ourselves. How can we examine something inside our head? Well, the same way we can examine things inside like we examine things outside, with the power of our attention. Attention is a very great gift given to us by the Creator. Probably the most valuable gift in life is attention, that you can put your attention wherever you like. That's so amazing that we can use the power of seeing, which is not even these eyes are involved, by imagination. We can put our attention right now at our homes and we can see what's going on there in our imagination. Equally good seeing in imagination with no eyes at all, just with the power of attention and imagination. So when we have been given these gifts of attention and imagination, why can't we apply this to examining our own inner self? Why can't we examine what would be the situation closest to ourselves? Now, if we want to see inside ourselves, not outside, then we must define what is inside. Inside this body, if we are a conscious being, not the body is covering us. Where are we? If we are merely a point of consciousness, that means we are the ones who are operating the body. We are the one using the body. Then where are we? First question. Before we can say who we are, let's say where are we? Then we can find out who we are. It does not take very long to close your eyes and contemplate on this issue. In this body, if I am an operator from a particular place, where am I operating from? You can examine the whole body. You can say, I've got my hands, I've got my feet, I've got my torso, got my head, my ears. The whole body you examine. Where are you sitting from where you are operating this machine? It does not take long to know you're operating from your head somewhere. Even with your eyes closed, you're trying to look outside in this world from the eyes. Even with eyes closed, your imagination is operating at that level. When you are conscious, you feel that if you want to know where's your nose, looks like it's in front and below. It does not take long to know that where we operate this body from, where we operate all our senses from, is inside our head. That's a good indication that if we have to use our attention and imagination to discover who we are, at least we know the location of it. The location is in our head, within our head, and we can then put our attention there. One difficulty is there, that we are used to focusing attention away from ourselves all the time, all our life. We read books, we look outside. We talk to people, look outside. Study, outside. Understand, outside. All our life, from childhood till we die, we spend our time looking outside, putting our attention outside. We have never put our attention inside. So it looks like a new thing. Withdrawal of attention to yourself is a totally different function than focusing your attention on something outside. It requires some learning and some practice. But if you start withdrawing your attention to yourself, then you will find out that there is so much stuff inside, far more than what is outside. And this can be done by practicing withdrawal of attention to the point where you think you are. Which point, if you examine from where you open your eyes and see, you're not seeing from your eyes. You're seeing the stereoscopic effect of vision by combining the images of the two eyes. And where do you combine them? Where do you feel you are seeing when the images are combined and you are seeing? It's not at the eye level, it's inner that. You are seeing it exactly from a point which is often called the third eye. These two eyes are merging the two images we are getting as a third eye, and when we merge and see a distance and see this stereoscopic effect, then we are seeing from the third eye. We are constantly operating from there. Now, using these tools of putting your attention on the third eye in the center of your head and using imagination that you are there, these two tools can make you withdraw your attention right behind the eyes to third eye center. When you do that, what happens? Well, if you do it, you'll know what happens. But those who have done it, they say there is such intense light inside, we've never seen outside. First of all, this light is dim compared to the light that's inside. We never see it because our attention is not there. By putting attention there, you see light. Then you hear music, inner music. Nobody is playing it. And when you go into that music, you go into the sound, that melody is so wonderful, and it is a continuous music going on. You almost enter into it as it was going on for eternity. This light and sound that is within us is a first indication that there is far vaster experiences inside than outside. When you go within and hold yourself there, that's the important point. If you can put your attention there and hold it there, which means don't have any other thought except that you are in the head by a meditational practice. If you can hold yourself there, your awareness of this body begins to disappear. It disappears in stages. First, you don't know where your hands are. You sit putting your attention there. After a while, you won't know where your hands are, where your feet are, later not where your legs are, ultimately where your body is. Then what happens? If you become unaware of this body, what happens to your consciousness? You discover you have another body which you thought was only imaginary. It becomes real. You find that you can fly, you can go where you like, there is no gravity there. There are experiences which are so different from the experience with the body, and they all become real. It's a remarkable thing. But the most remarkable thing in that experience is you remember you were there for a long, long time, much earlier than this physical body. You remember how many experiences you had a few 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago. You remember them because they were your experiences. You awaken to another reality of your own self. When we go to sleep at night and go into a dream state, during the dream we don't know that we are sleeping. We think this is all real, we move around. Even if we say in the dream, I know it's a dream, what do? We tell all the people in the dream, I know it's a dream. If you really knew it's a dream, what are you telling? They are not even existing. When you wake up, you don't tell anybody. You don't go back to tell those people, now I have got enlightened, I have woken up. Never say that. The reason is that when you wake up, you discover that the dream was a creation, a created experience. And it only lasted while you were sleeping. When you woke up, that experience ended, a new one started of wakefulness. Enlightenment is like that. When you withdraw your attention from this body and open up your inner experience of a self, of another body, which is different from this, similar to this, but little different because it behaves differently. It sees much better. These eyes have problems. Use glasses. Their vision is impaired. You go inside Have you ever noticed that when you imagine things, that vision is perfect? And otherwise you're wearing glasses. Have you ever imagined that your hearing capacity is so good in your imaginary self and so poor outside when you are old? Because that does not decay. These sense perceptions do not decay in the inner body. And the inner body is functioning to make this body work. It's not that some people have an inner body, some don't. It is we all have to have that. What are those inner body called? Sense perceptions. There is no body. Sense perceptions put together make up that body. Without that body, we would have no sense perceptions on this body. If we didn't have sense perception of this body, we couldn't have them in a dream either. So therefore, the sense perceptions is that sensory body or astral body, which we realize just by pulling our attention back to the center of our head. That's a very eye-opening experience. Now, people ask me, how do you know that you are really awakened and not making up this like a dream-like state? My counter question is, when you wake up in the morning, how do you know you are awake? Have you ever asked anybody to check out if you are awake? Have you pinched yourself to see if you are awake? You go to sleep. In the morning you are awake. Awake does not mean movement. You're still lying in bed, eyes closed, same state in which you went to sleep. And yet you know you're awake. And if supposing 10 people came and said, no, you're not awake, will you believe those 10 people or your own state of wakefulness? What is the state of wakefulness that is so overriding convincing, so powerfully convincing that nobody can say you're not awake if you're awake? That is because when you go to sleep, you forget where you are. When you remember where you slept, you are awake. You don't have to open your eyes. Supposing we sleep in a bed and then in the morning we are awake, first thing is not that we open our eyes to know we are awake. We know we are awake because we remember we went to sleep. That's simple. When you awaken to a higher level of consciousness by withdrawing attention from this, you awaken to that state where you recall you were there before you were here. And that's the ultimate proof of itself. You don't need outside proof whether your experience was real or unreal, or whether you made it up or not made it up. It's your experience of higher wakefulness. So that is why the experience itself carries its certainty. Just like the experience of waking up from sleep itself carries the certainty that you are awake. When that happens, you discover that what this physical body was a very temporary thing for a very short period of time. Very quickly we born, we grow up, we grow old, and if you look back upon life in an old age, then you realize how quickly time has passed in the cosmos and the experience outside, the possibility of life is the millions and billions of years. We come here for a short period. How could this be our life? And awakening tells you, no, you were here before too. That's a very big discovery for yourself, that this is just a cover, that you just took up another temporary body to have this experience. Now you're having a different experience. The astral self or the sensory self is also generated only to have a certain experience, sensory experience. It can be sensory experience without matter, without any physical matter. To make it physical matter, we take this body on top of it. Then this becomes physical world and physical matter. You withdraw, you go into a non-physical world, a non-physical matter. It's not physical, but it's there. It's totally visible and tactile, touchable. It's totally smelled. All the senses are intact when you awake to a higher level of consciousness. And yet, you're not tied down by gravity. You're not tied down by age and appearance. You're not tied down by so many things that are bothering us here. And that's our own identity inside. We all have it and can be discovered by simple process of withdrawing our attention behind the eyes to where we think we are operating from now, where we are awake now. The process is very simple. We have made it difficult because of our attachments and constant reliance upon what is external outside of us. never having examined that we can pull our attention back and examine what's happening if we did not pay our attention outside. Very simple proposition. Don't pay attention outside, pay attention inside, open up everything. Period. It's not something that is so fantastic. You have to stand in a river and meditate and look at the sun, or go to ascended masters in the Himalayas, or look for some particular. It's all within you. Just pull your attention within and see what it is. Don't have to ask anybody what is there. Check it out yourself. It's just a good guide to know that people who have done it, what they've seen is so universal, it's so common, that we can all say, that is, we understand how it is operating. But that is only a small part of a spiritual journey. A true spiritual journey is that which leads you to the spirit, to your soul. We have just discovered how to find out the basis for our sense perceptions that are working in this body, that they operate independently also, and they work through this body also. That's just step one. Step two is to withdraw within the conscious part of that body, which means you withdraw your attention within the head of the inner body or the sensory body. Same practice. Because consciousness is still operating from the central point of that internal body, which we say sensory body or astral body. When you do that, you become unaware of that. With practice, you can become unaware of that. Then you discover that what you thought was your thinking mind was also yourself, independently of the bodies, independently of your sense perceptions. That you did not need to break perception into seeing, touching, tasting, smelling, that the perception was one function, that you split it up for a variety of experiences. That if you withdraw your attention to that point, then the self, which is now a thinking machine, the mind, that the mind itself is your body. The mind itself becomes you. Today also we make the mind ourselves by constantly saying, I'm thinking, that's me thinking. We do put some reliance on the thinking process, saying, because I am thinking, that must be the real me. Which means we are trying to identify ourselves with our mind. But then we are covered by this physical body and sensory body, so mind gets hidden inside, operates from behind the scenes. But when you pull your attention and make these two covers not visible to you, unaware of them, mind becomes a body. Mind becomes yourself. It does not have eyes and head and all that, does not need it. It's not a shape. It is just a function of perceptions and thinking, reasoning, making sense of things. It's just a machine. It's a computer. It's the most wonderful, largest computer that I have ever seen. And we are all carrying it in our head. We are all using it all the time. We use it constantly. We don't allow it to have a pause. We think constantly. Thinking never stops. Day and night we think. Therefore, day and night we are operating that machine. And by thinking thoughts through language, through images, we are creating an association with outside experiences which we take as real. And therefore, we are caught up in a reality that's been created outside. This work of creating reality has been done so beautifully. It's a masterpiece. First of all, the reality created outside has been done with the projection of what is inside. It doesn't look like that. It looks that the outside is more real than any thoughts we can have. So we are placed in a reality where we have no contact with how the reality is being created. It's like going to a movie theater. We go to a movie theater, we buy tickets, sit inside and look at the screen. And people are moving and we get tears in our eyes, tragedies taking place, murders are taking place, all kinds of drama is going on the screen. We begin to take it as real. We'll wait, what will happen next now? What will that guy do? As if real life is going on, totally forgetting that what we are seeing is a shadow. Nothing is happening on the screen at all, except that it's a projected shadow, and the projector is not in front of us, projector is behind us. And the projector has a film laden already with the film we are watching. Nothing will change. And we are saying, I hope this happens, I hope this doesn't happen, taking it all real. The projector is behind, film is laid in it, and the light behind the projector is casting this shadow, we're taking the shadow as real. This is an amazing situation where we are not able to turn around to see where the projector is. This film, this multi-dimensional film we are seeing, we call life, is being created by a pre-laden film, a pre-laden destiny packed into our minds. The light of the soul is making it visible. Consciousness is making it visible as a conscious experience outside. It's exactly like watching a movie on a theater and taking it to be real. There was a guy in India, in a village, he had never seen a movie. He was brought to a town where he could see a movie. An interesting movie. In that movie, one scene was a girl comes, takes off her clothes, dips into the pond. So as she's taking off her clothes, a train comes and passes by in front. So by the time the train goes, the girl is in the pond, so he never gets the actual act of her being nude. The guy went to the movie 20 times, hoping that the train will be late one day. We are living the same kind of life. We are doing exactly the same things every day, taking it so real, not realizing any number of times you repeat this life, the same thing will happen. So, how do we know all this? It does not require an outside study. This requires an inside study within ourselves. But that is still not a discovery of ourselves. All I told you just now is how to discover how your mind operates, creates things and projects them with the power of consciousness. They look all real outside, and we take this as the only reality. It's great. It was designed to be like that. Not that it's a mistake. It was designed to be a reality. Creation was supposed to be real creation. Since there was no other material to create except consciousness, it was used very ably, very perfectly. Perfectly used consciousness to create an experience through consciousness, which consciousness picked up simultaneously and thought it was outside reality. Every level looks like a reality and more real than the previous level. When we are in a dream state, the dream looks real. We wake up, dream is not real, this is real. We awaken to the next level, that alone is real, that was not real. We go to the next higher, that alone is real, all lower levels were unreal. At all times we have one reality. We don't have multiple realities, which is also a great thing, to have only one reality at a time. Because if we had multiple realities, they would not look so real. You could then distinguish between them. If a person could be awake and dream at the same time, then we could know what is real, which is unreal. As I said, that we know for certain that we have woken up in the morning because we remember we were there. This memories is a very great proof of what is happening to us. The memory comes back, I slept here, I know I'm awake. Nobody's proof is required. Similarly, when you rise to the other state of wakefulness, you remember you were there. And you remember, the link comes up. What you were doing there when you had to go and have a dip into a physical life of this kind and to come back again. You remember the whole life. You remember long periods of life. In the mental sphere, you remember you were always there. The always, of course, looks always. Actually, even there, the mind also has a life, but so long, millions of years of physical time. So we carry the same mind in reincarnation after reincarnation. No matter in what life form we come, the mind remains the same. And only when the whole destruction of this entire universe takes place at some point, that the mind is destroyed. Otherwise, we carry the same mind. And no matter how many bodies we change, how many forms we change, even if we become angels, and we become other life forms, the mind is still the same. How do we know it? Check it out when you're seeing your mind. When mind is yourself, you remember all that, all the forms you took. So it's a personal experience. It's all this whole spiritual path, the spiritual path of awakening to your own true reality is a personal experience. You do not base your belief on somebody else's statement. If somebody else is telling you that there is something, Take it with a pinch of salt. I have not seen it. But I don't deny that you have seen. Don't say, I haven't seen, therefore you haven't seen. That's wrong. If somebody has had an experience and tells us, and we say, no, because I haven't had it, you can't have it, that's not correct. That's what we try to do sometimes. No, if somebody has experience, say, okay, tell us, how did you get it? So I can also try. Is it possible for everybody to try? And if we find out, yes, everybody can do it, I'll do it myself and find out. What we have attained by becoming unaware of the physical body and realizing there's an inner body which has a longer life, 3,000-4,000 years old life, which we call our sense perceptions, our senses. And inside the senses lies our mind, which has created all the experiences from there. And that's like the projector. And inside the projector comes ourself, inside the mind, not outside. The mind functions with the power of the soul. The mind functions with the power of consciousness. The mind becomes conscious with the power of our own self, which is consciousness. We are pure consciousness per se. Now, how to discover that? We go within the mind, same way. Attention is still available to us. Attention plays a role. This whole practice is dependent upon attention, being focused on something. Wherever you focus attention, you go there. So when you pull our attention within the mind, you discover that that which is empowering the mind is ourself. We make the mind function. So when you go to that point, then you realize who you are. You are an immortal soul that was never born, will never die, has no karma, has no such thing like good and bad, has no such thing, is pure consciousness which can generate all the experiences, including morality, including pairs of opposites, including thinking, including sensing, including this physical world. Then you realize that the power of consciousness is creating all this, and that's yourself. You are that, not this. That is enlightenment. That is self-realization. That's when you know who you really are. Then you discover that all this creation was made up of different elements which were pierced through these kind of veils, filters, and every filter created a new experience for us. So these three major filters, the physical body, the astral sensory system, and the thinking mind, these filters through which our consciousness has been poured in has created all kinds of different experiences, all varieties of experiences, and it's an unending game of creating experiences is going on all the time. It's not somebody else's knowledge we are talking about, not a book we are reading. We are seeing, is it true that it is all happening from within our consciousness? It is. This is a proof that nobody needs to question. Nobody questions it when you have their own experience. You don't go about asking anybody, nor can you properly answer somebody who says, how can you be sure? I was studying at Harvard University, and they were very competent professors of psychology and philosophy sitting there, and they would come and argue with me. They said, you talk of some experiences you can get by meditation, by withdrawing attention. We are psychologists. We have examined these cases. We see these patients all the time who talk of these things. But we think they're delusional. We believe that you too are creating these experiences by what we would consider auto-suggestion, auto-hypnosis. What you are doing is that first believing such a thing exists, then using your own power of suggestion to create these experiences. Don't you think it's possible? I answered, I said, yes, it's very possible. Maybe it is true. Maybe I am creating all these experiences. What is the effect of creating these experiences? That I am happy all the time, knowing what is going on. You people are depressed and taking antidepressants. Is it worthwhile to have this power to create this? What's wrong with it? Then I put a counter question to them. I said, can you give me any proof that all that you are experiencing is not autosuggestion also? If one can create an experience of a sensory system, of a sensory type, by suggestion, power of suggestion, and you are saying, I can create it, aren't you creating it also? Give me any proof whatsoever, which should lie outside of the created suggestion. Don't give me proof that man says so, that man says so, because I can get that proof in a dream. I asked 10 people, is it a dream? They said, no. I said, see, 10 people are saying it's not a dream. So it's really not a dream. And I wake up and find those 12 people were part of the dream. How can you use part of the dream to check whether it's a dream or not? You have to check from somewhere else. If you are looking at the wakeful state, you professors, you psychologists, you are looking at this world from one angle, from one physical state. Get me a proof from outside of the state that this is not power of suggestion. I acknowledge what you say. We create all this by power of suggestion. But you are immersed in the problems created by power of suggestion, taking it as real, and getting so tied up with all these problems of daily life, especially emotional problems of your relationships that have almost killed your happiness out of you. You have got relationships, broken relationships, and then you are crying about it. Why are you crying if it is just a dream, power of suggestion? So therefore, it is best to see if there is a technique, if there is a reliable technique, a reliable method of waking up to a inner reality from where the judgment does not require that you ask anybody, but you know you are awake. And that is possible in all of us. So it's a big game going on here. This is a whole creation of a big game. If you know it's a game, you'll enjoy it. And if you think it's real, you'll cry. It's obvious. If you know that it's a great movie going on, you will watch and enjoy it, no matter what happens. Because you'll wake up one day and find it was not real. People ask me this question, you seem to be praising the Creator for a great job done. You think it's a great job done to create so much evil, to create so much cruelty, so much torture, so much happening in this world? What kind of creator was that who thought this is going to be enjoying something? My answer was simple. You go and see all the torture on the movies and the screen. Have you ever got up from your chair and said, no, I want to stop it? Have you ever said, oh, I don't like the scene, and you run and tear up the screen? You sit there, you don't move from your chair. Why? You know, just a movie. Supposing you have a nightmare, a terrible dream, in which bad things have happened, and then you wake up. Don't you say, thank God it was just a dream? Thank God the nightmare was just a dream, it was not real? Don't you think if this is like that, set up like that, and you will awaken from it, and you will awake and find that the whole thing was set up exactly like a dream? You say, thank God, it was just created as an experience. Then, but why create this experience in the first place? Can the mind find out a reason why any reasonable creator would create scenes like this, nightmares like this, in a real world, looks so real, and then say, I did a good job? Even though it's unreal, why create such kind of experiences in an unreal world which looks real? Answer is very simple. That unless you have these experiences, how will you know what the value of the peace and bliss in your own home is? How will you know that when you awaken to your true reality, that that's such a wonderful place, if you have nothing to compare it with? Do you know we don't appreciate anything in this world till we have seen the opposite of it? In this very country, a young man who committed murder was acquitted because he was suffering from affluenza. Not influenza, affluenza. He was a rich parent's kid. He had never seen poverty, never seen murder, never seen this. He committed murder, the judge acquitted him. That he's suffering from too much riches because he never saw the other side, so he didn't know what was wrong, what was right. How do we know how to appreciate what we have if you've never seen anything different? In a story form, when they talk about creation, they say there are souls that never left their home, and they're souls like us who came and watched all this strange kind of show with mixed show of happiness, unhappiness, and suffering and pleasures. And we saw this show, went back, and everybody in our true home, in our heavens, was dancing with joy because they were in a state of bliss. And we went and danced even more. And they said, what's so special about you? We are all in the same place, all the same bliss. And we who had gone from there told them, you don't know what you're missing. Because they don't even know what to appreciate there. So, if you can create a world of experience, a world of duality, you will really experience the happiness, joy, and bliss. Even it's beyond happiness. The word bliss has been used even as beyond happiness in your own true state to which you really belong. When you go to where you belong, you discover why the whole show was set up. The show was set up to appreciate what you are, who you are. And this was a good way to do it. So, but right here, in this state, we are acting on pre-written parts, on pre-written scripts, and we don't even know that we are acting in this play. This whole world is a stage, we are acting on it. When we go to see a play, which play do we like more, which is more realistic? If just a slapdash street show, we can go and buy a ticket for $1 and see it, and it's just no, acting is not real. We can know they are just trying to act. But when we go to a Broadway show, go to an important, pay $150 a seat to watch the show, we like it because the actors act like it is real. The actors are so real, they forget that they are actors. Then there's a good show. A movie was made called Gandhi, and Mahatma Gandhi was acted by Ben Kingsley, a British actor. Some of you might have seen it. He was interviewed in New Delhi. After the movie was released and became a big success, he said, for 6 months, I did not allow them to shoot the movie till I could feel I was Gandhi. Every day I woke up and pretended to myself, ultimately believed myself, I am Gandhi. Then I said, now shoot. What does it mean? Unless you believe you are the character, you won't be a good actor. Imagine what an arrangement has been made that we all believe that we are who we are, not knowing we are all actors. This stage has been set up in such a way that we all believe that we are what our names have been given, characters have been given to our bodies. We think that's what we are. Therefore, the act is wonderful. And we all act according to a script, which all motivates what steps we will take, how we will think, how... The script is not merely for bodily action. It involves the thinking of the mind. The script includes that. So the script has been made earlier. We're playing it out just like any other act, but we are wonderful actors. We've forgotten we are actors, therefore we are the best actors. And we act like it's all real. What a setup. Imagine looking at this whole show from the point of view of our true home, our true self. You would admire this show. There's no possibility of any other way. And it will look so perfect. Things have been placed so perfect in the totality. If you see the total picture, it's perfect. You see part of it, it's imperfect. Any small part you see, it's imperfect. It's like looking at a large painting and admiring it. If you cut that painting into small pieces and put those little pieces as a heap on the table and say, that's my painting, you can't see the painting. And if you keep on looking at every piece, all the pieces, several times over, you will never see the painting. And each piece will look like nothing. It's not a painting at all. This life is like that. When looked at its totality, it's perfect. When you see the whole thing from here to the top, from where the whole conscious process starts and generates all these experiences. You look at the whole, it's perfect. You look at some part of it, like we do day to day, here to there. We use scissors of time and space to cut it out. We have used scissors to say we can only see what is now, and we can't see what is yesterday or tomorrow, and we can only see what's here, we can't see what is there. We're limiting ourselves, just like cutting experience, total experience, into little pieces. We can't see the beauty of the whole creation as a whole. See from the top, then you will see the beauty of the entire creation and how it has been set up, like an act. What we take as real has been created as a reality. So we can experience it as reality. So when we come to our own true reality, we appreciate it. We appreciate it so immensely that thank God that was just a nightmare. Thank God it was just a dream-like state. Was created for this purpose so I could appreciate it better. When I talk of the soul as our consciousness and the mind as a thinking machine, there's a big distinction between the two. And why I want to bring it to your notice is because when I came to this country first time, people did not even distinguish between the two. They asked me questions like this. Now, you talk about this mind, soul, whatever it is, as if there's no difference between the mind and the soul. They thought that the thinking self is it. The philosopher who said, I think, therefore I am, was wrong. He should have said, I am, therefore I am, and I have a brain, a mind that thinks, which I use for thinking. That's the truth. So we have identified ourselves with the thinking process to such an extent that when we think something, the I is attached to that thought, not to the fact that we are providing consciousness for the brain to think. We don't realize that we are providing conscious power to our mind to think. That therefore we don't become the thinking machine itself. We don't become the mind just because we use it. It's like saying we have a very high efficient computer and we use for every purpose. Computer tells us everything, therefore we are the computer. They say some people, sociologists are predicting in the next 50 years, computers will have super intelligence. They'll gather the intelligence of a lot of people. No individual has it. So they will become our masters and they will tell us what to do all the time. And we will become just like zombies acting under the instructions of computers. Somebody told me this. I said, why are you waiting for that? We're doing it right now. We're doing exactly that. We are following our mind exactly like zombies. Whatever the mind says, we start doing it. Whatever the mind says, we start believing it. We don't have any other reliance on ourselves. We don't realize that we are the power that is making the mind alive. We are the power that uses the mind. We can use the mind by directing it to think what our inner self wants. Let me give you a distinction, clear distinction between the mind and the soul. The mind will always work in time because its only process of working is through thinking. And even the smallest thought takes time. The self works through intuition, gut feeling. The gut feeling comes without time. It comes sudden and there's no time. The mind can reason itself through thinking to come to a conclusion. Gut feeling never reasons, never takes time. It's just a knowledge that comes instantly from ourselves. The feeling and expression of love which we feel towards people, towards ourselves, that inner feeling of love comes from ourselves, not from thinking. You cannot think yourself to create the experience of love, but you can have love and then think about it. And if you think too much about it, then the love disappears. The intuitive power of the soul, of our own self, has total clarity in it. It does not include any doubt or fear. The mind has doubt and fear in almost everything it does. The big distinctions. The power of appreciating beauty lies in the spirit, in the soul, not in the mind. The mind can analyze. To appreciate beauty, there's an element of synthesis, element of looking together, which the mind lacks. Therefore, the self does it directly, and the rest, analysis done by the mind. The two functions are so different. But the basic difference that the mind always works in time and space distinguishes it from intuition all the time. A friend of mine came to me, he says, I've been practicing to develop my intuition. I said, I didn't know how to do that. Come teach me how you do that. He said, well, now let me see. I have to decide whether I should go right or wrong or left, or whether I should go east or west. Now I'm going to use my intuition. West, see? I said, what was that for? That's for the mind working. The mind, you can't say that the quick thinking of the mind becomes the intuition. You can't say speed up the mind and therefore it's intuition. Intuition is when you are not even thinking about it. You are thinking the opposite. You say, I want to go there. Gut feeling says, don't. Which is that feeling coming from? It has no time. It's not reasoned out. It is no logic in it. And yet, so many times, look back in our life, so many times, I should have relied on my gut feeling. I should have relied on that intuitive feeling I got. All the time we are saying it. The reason is the mind's thinking and reasoning is based upon very little data in front of it. The little information the mind has, it just uses that, puts it together, and gives a reason. Next day we find there's something else the mind didn't know. Oh, I was wrong, I didn't know that, so I was wrong in my conclusion. Intuition doesn't function on that basis. Intuition gathers our entire experience, maybe genetic experience, for millions of years, puts it together and gives instant knowledge of something intuitively. It carries so much hidden memory, subconscious, it puts all together and gives intuitive indication what we should do. But we don't want to rely on that. Why don't we rely on our intuition? The mind argues against it. The mind says, no, that doesn't make sense. This business of trying to make sense all the time does not allow us to use our intuition. I have suggested to one group to work for a month using only intuition and see if there's a change in their life. Their life changed completely. Their life changed so wonderfully, they say everything is happening by itself. All the goodies are coming by themselves. We don't have to think about it because when we think, we make mistakes. So this is something very interesting, that our own power of consciousness per se, is the power to experience love, the power to have intuitive knowledge, the power to appreciate joy, beauty and bliss. That's intuitive. That's all in us. That's our real self experiencing. And we are relying on a cover upon ourselves, a machine that's been given, an accessory given to us to use. Use it, then it's good. If people use their mind, they are doing a good thing. But if they are being used by a mind, then they are doing something which is very risky and making you miserable. Those who live a life dictated by their mind, look how miserable they have become. All uncertain. Because mind is always uncertain. It can't see the future. It can't have a good conclusion. It uses logic. It uses strange kind of logic. Some logical answers are based upon what you can already see. It says, this is a tablecloth, it's some nice flowers on this, and now this part also has flowers. That's a great logical conclusion. That you saw the whole tablecloth, then you looked at a part of it and said, this has got the same flowers. That's logical. It's called deductive logic. All deductive logic depends on getting something out of the data, the premise already given. It never goes beyond that. Then there's inductive logic. Inductive logic is speculative. These flowers go, I know this is a tablecloth, they must be going the other side also. I'm not sure, but I suppose so. There's an inductive inference I'm drawing. Inductive logic leaves doubt, deductive logic gives no knowledge, and we are relying constantly on logic of the mind to run our lives. Imagine, these are handicaps we have, and we are not getting over them when the facility to get over this is within ourselves. When we discover who we are, we overcome all these handicaps and all these difficulties, and life becomes totally different. Forget about what you see there or not see there. This life becomes totally different. The knowledge how this creation has been structured, the knowledge how it's being operated, itself changes this life completely. Even if you just take it that this is a show going on, all of us are playing our part, knowledge, your life changes. Because we are involved in things which are part of an act, part of a script, and we are taking it so real and taking it upon our consciousness, upon ourselves, and becoming miserable with it. Why be miserable over something that was just set up like a show? Watch it. We go to a movie, we watch from the chair in the audience, we don't run to the stage. Let us not run to the stage here. The stage is the multi-dimensional stage. Let's sit in a beautiful chair in our head, behind the eyes, and watch the movie in which this body is also an actor. One simple thing, do that only, your life will change from tomorrow. Look at life as it is a play in which we are all actors, including this body of yours is an actor. Where are you? You're sitting in a comfortable chair in the audience. If it happens to be inside, one of the characters. the character you call yourself. You are sitting inside and watching. Life will change from tomorrow. Same life. It does not mean that life has to be altered. The same life will look so different. You smile at everything. You sit in a chair and smile at everything that's going on. We want happiness. Everybody is looking for happiness. Happiness does not come from outside. We try very hard. We think pleasure, outside company will give us happiness. Hardly ever. The same thing that's giving happiness today gives us unhappiness tomorrow. A little baby is born in our family, bundle of joy, and we celebrate and we say, what wonderful things. And after some years, the boy is a teenager and giving so much health to us. What a rascal we produced. The same source of joy has become a source of sorrow. Oh, people come to me, bless us, we found our soulmates. Girl comes, I found this soulmate. Boy comes and tell me, this girl is my soulmate. We are madly in love. We have discovered we were made for each other. Okay, blessings. I give you all good wishes. I had a great life. 3 months later, they are both with me. We are in divorce court. And then what they say? We knew from day one we were not made for each other. I said, that's not what you said on day one. This is our life here. We have made it like that. Not necessary to make it like that. Know what's going on. Know who you are. Know how it's structured. Know how these relationships are going. Know it's a show. Know it's a show. Things will change automatically. That's why when I share this experience with you, when I share this little bit of information with you about the spiritual path, I emphasize the benefits start from day one. It's not that you have to go all the way up to discover who you are, to find out what your soul is, to find out what your mind is, even to discover what your sensory body is. No, you start from day one and start getting the benefit of the spiritual path. So it's so wonderful. And I know that many of you are already on the path and you see that I see changes in life taking place. People observe such a big change in you. If you're happy, you spread happiness. You find happiness inside from your state of knowing, then you spread happiness. Again, I did an experiment once with a group. I said, pretend that you are happy. And nobody is really happy. So I said, let's start by pretending. But pretend for 1 week, not one day. Pretend for 1 week, day and night. Wherever you go, whoever you meet, put up a smile and say you are happy and feel you are happy. 1 week. And then we'll come back and reassemble and evaluate our experience of the world. So, a small group, 20 people, they went out and they all pretended they were happy. They smiled at everybody. After 1 week, we assembled. Let's see, how did you find the world? They all said, everybody was happy. Everybody we met was happy. Nobody changed, they changed. When we are happy, then people become happy. Supposing you find angry people, a lot of angry people are there, and you retort with anger, anger persists. Supposing somebody is angry, you smile and take it easy. And he provokes you more because an angry person wants you to be angry. The tit for tat, something should be going on, and you smile, and you laugh, and you show him the lighter side of what it is, his anger will disappear. He can't continue to be angered too long. It's the same thing with happiness. When you find that the internal happiness you can get by realizing what this show is like, or the structure of this universe is, everybody you meet all over becomes happy. So you travel everywhere, happy people all around you. And people complain, there's so much anger, so much this thing, so much violence, all that. You find peace, happiness, all that around where you go. Nothing has happened outside. It's the same people, same situations. Your happiness is radiating and making people happy. Even if you say nothing to people, but you're happy, you'll find people will have a smile and become happy. One mystic in India, he said it's very difficult to practice devotion because they say ultimate path, last path of the journey to our own totality is through love and devotion. And we don't know how to be devoted. So he says, pretend to be devoted. He says, pretending to be devoted, using within yourself phraseology and things like you are devoted to somebody will make you devoted after a while. So I remember reading a book long ago called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. In that book, there's one chapter on smiling. It says smile even if you don't feel like smiling, and you'll find people reacting by smiles. So I still remember that sometimes when we don't know how to do a thing, we can pretend to do it, it becomes reality. It gives you a practice. So therefore, pretend to be happy, have a smile, look at the world, and you'll make people happy, you'll be happy also. When you meet happy people, you will also be more happy. It's a infectious thing. Happiness is infectious. It travels like that. So the spiritual path, which I suggest to you to try out, I'm only suggesting try out. I am not saying that you have to be bound down to anything. If I say, this is a path, you must follow this like this, these are the rules, I am making it into a cult. Then it's not a spiritual path at all. A cult is a prison house. A cult is where people put you in and you can't escape, and it's like a prison. This is a path for each one of us to discover who we are openly. If you don't like one method, follow another. If you don't think this is an approach, good approach, try another. This is experimental. This is totally personal, experimental, experiential. It has nothing to do with cults or societies or groups or anything. Nothing to do with any nationality, nothing to do with where you are born, what the color of your skin is, who you belong to. It's open to everybody equally. And the reason why it's open to everybody is because we are souls, units of consciousness, which has no distinction whatsoever between us. We are all the same. That's why it's open to all of us. It's a journey of the soul, not journey of our mind rattling these things and our bodies moving here or there or doing different kind of yogas or asanas or exercises. It's not that stuff. Yoga, the word yoga, means union. Originally it was used, the word yoga was used, union with your own true self. That you are now identifying yourself with something else, like the body and this world. You are not your true self. When you unite yourself through experience with your own self, that's yoga. What did we do? We said the yogis who are practicing this yoga are doing something. They're putting their bodies in certain positions. They become like a dead body. They become like this. They're doing a lot of exercises in a confined space. Why were they doing in a confined space? Because they were doing their yoga meditation practice in small caves, in solitude. So no distractions disturb them. Now we are copying the exercise they did to keep their body fit, and we call it yoga. Yoga has become a set of exercises for the physical body. It's supposed to be a spiritual exercise to discover your own self. Therefore, the word term yoga has been used so many different ways that people are thinking it's merely an exercise of the body or to get peace of mind. People want peace of mind. That our mind is rattling so much, they want peace of mind. Music can give you peace of mind. So many other things can give you peace of mind. Good company can give you peace of mind. Laughter can give you peace of mind. There are thousands of ways to get peace of mind. Well, yoga, sitting in certain isolation, sitting in meditation, gives you peace of mind. But the original yoga did not mean that. Yoga meant discovering who you are and union with that. That means knowing that is you. Discovering who you really are. That's true yoga. That there is light and music and sound inside us has been discovered by anybody who's gone inside. If you put your attention inside, you'll see light and sound both. You'll hear the sound, see the light, and if you keep on persisting to go within, light and sound will become the same. And you will see the sound and you will hear the light. Then you find there's no difference. It's a great experience lying inside all of us. Therefore, the yoga that I would recommend, what we call the Surta Shabda Yoga, the yoga of putting your attention on the sound within. What is the sound? Sound emanates inside from consciousness itself. Because when I said in the beginning, consciousness has to be something to be conscious of. If all creation disappeared, the consciousness would still be conscious of itself. And that consciousness descends down in a form of a creative power that keeps on going, devolving from one level of experience to another. In the physical level, it looks like a sound inside us. In fact, it looks like a bell sound inside us. We can all hear, if we put our attention, there's this bell sound ringing somewhere at a distance which can be heard inside. It's not from outside at all. Most of the bells using on the churches and temples were because of the bells we can hear inside. So putting attention on that sound is putting attention on your own conscious self. And that's one of the good ways to pull your attention back. It can be learned, one can be trained in that, and one can make good progress, better progress than other methods of trying to focus your attention within. Because when you try to focus attention by repetition of words, by mantras and so on, then you are pushing yourself inside. But when you hear the sound pulls you inside. I compare this with a front-wheel drive car and a rear-wheel drive car. The rear-wheel car drive pushes the car. The engine pushes the car through the transmission. And the trying mantras and trying to force yourself to see what is going on is like pushing yourself. But front-wheel car pushes the car, automatically pulls the car. One pushes, pulls the car. The listening to the sound of your own consciousness is like being pulled by the sound, and therefore it's like a front-wheel car. Just an example. So, but you can practice both. Supposing sound is not easily available because of the distractions we have, you can try the other method. When you're ready, when you start feeling that the other pull has come, follow that. So all these things can be learned without much difficulty. You don't have to do any harsh exercises or something. It's all an exercise within consciousness, within your head. It does not involve too much of the body. It does not involve learning 84 postures in which the body can be moved to make the muscles active in a small place, which was the basis for exercises in yoga. It does not involve that. It involves working with your own conscious self, working with your own attention, your imagination, and your power of concentrating that attention. These are the tools required. You all have them. We all have them. So I think it's a worthwhile thing just for the peripheral benefits, that you get clarity. You get clarity, you see everything clearly. Doubts disappear because of that clarity. And when doubts disappear, fear disappears. Most of our life is full of fear, insecurity, fear. We are always complaining of that because we don't have clarity. We don't have, we are not certainty that what's happening. We're not living in the flow of what is going on. We haven't realized that. We try to fight things. So we are insecure and in fear. Fear disappears. Doubt disappears. Clarity comes. Peripheral benefits of a journey to your own self. It's worthwhile. That's what my 2 cents is for sharing with you, based on experience, not on books. If you bring books to me, I can tell if they say the same thing or not. But I don't think that the books can teach what you can learn by your own experience. So there's experiential and discovery of your own self. I hope you will all be able to take advantage of this possibility that exists in all of us. Thank you very much. And I want to thank David for his hospitality to host this meeting here, and all his friends who have helped him in making these arrangements. Thank you very much, David.